Good morning, everybody. It is kind of morning, isn't it? Well, it's getting closer to afternoon. It's morning here. Today I want to talk about audio levels, or more importantly, editing audio in your video. Sometimes people post videos and the audio is just a little too low. Here's a couple of little easy tips and tricks that I want to show you where you can boost the audio levels while maintaining some decent quality to help your next video. So here's a couple of tricks, and I hope they help you out. Now, your results will vary depending upon the microphone you used, the device you used to record the audio, how much compression was applied. You know, there's a lot of factors, but there is ways of cleaning up audio and bringing up the levels so people can hear. And I really hope this helps. Oh, and I just want to say this, I'm really sorry about the shaky can. I just had a bunch of iced tea this morning. Yeah, I'm a little iced tea jitter. Caffeine, yum, 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 yum. Purpose of this demonstration, I'm going to be showing you in Adobe Premiere Pro and using Audition to edit the audio, to try to boost the levels without sacrificing the quality of the audio, or at least try to maintain decent audio quality. So if you load a video up into Adobe Premiere like I have here, and for the rest of this I'm gonna be putting my headphones on so I can hear what's going on. And on the timeline here, of course, dad mode kicked in. This is my daughter. A few years ago, she was at one of the cons and she wanted to do an interview with R2-D2. I mean, who wouldn't? That's awesome. I have the video clip loaded here on the timeline. And as you can see, the audio level, and let's stretch it out a little bit, you can see that the audio level is a bit low. Now you can sit here and grab the volume bar here and raise it up, but you're not going to get a whole lot out of that because eventually some of that audio is going to get clipped. It's going to be maybe a little overdriven, and we don't want that. We want to increase the volume without decreasing the audio quality. Right click, and you'll see the option right here, Edit Clip in Adobe Audition. And what that's going to do is it's going to take the audio, it's going to extract it out, create a WAV file, and load it into Adobe Audition. And as you can see here on the audio, most of my peaks are right here around -12. And I want them closer to -3. Well, if you look over here to your left, you will see the effects rack. That's what we're going to work with. We're going to hit the little triangle. The first thing we're going to do is I'm going to go to Amplify. I'm going to boost this up. I'm going to say, let's start kind of conservative because we got a couple of peaks that are really high. Let's go 9. We are going to increase the level. Now, if you notice, it didn't make the change, and I'll show you this. If we click, this is an on-off button. This allows you to turn it off. You'll see that it's here. Watch this.
Okay.
If you look at your input and output, input is what the source material is. Output is what changes you have made on the volume level. And already,
Hello, Archie.
we have already increased the volume level of this video clip. Good. But as you can tell, we hit red line. That's not good. Whenever we start going past 0, or also referred to as unity, that's when we get into the audio becomes scrambled. It becomes garbled. That's the overdriven. Now, if you're going for overdriven, that's fine. But for the purpose of this, we want clean audio. Now, this program isn't going to let you hear it, but it doesn't mean when you apply it, that same audio into another program, it's going to have a hard time. So let's try to maintain it, nothing going past 0. So we just boosted 9 dB.
What is your favorite game?
All right, so right there, I hear that in this area, it's still a little bit low. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to boost it up 12.
Okay. What brought you?
All right, now we're getting exactly where we need to be. Now the audio is getting out there. Now we have to bring the high peaks down without affecting or reducing the audio level overall. And I'll show you what I mean. There's another little tool you're going to add, which is called multi-band compressor. For a lot of people, Classical Master is going to be the one you're going to use.
To RowdyCon.
And you will see the little red dots is where it's compressing some of the signal.
Nice. Any character who...
So let's get down here to where we got these really high peaks.
Thank you, R2.
And you can see right there in the midtones and the mid-highs, you are seeing a bit more of the compressor kicking in. That's good. And if you notice, it really cleaned up the audio. So we're going to go ahead and close that. It is being applied. And you can just barely...
Thank you, R2. Thank you, R2.
And here that sounds just a little bit better. We're going to add one more effect. Now, we're going to add one more thing as a final thing. This should be the last thing you do. This is the last effect you want to add to clean up audio, and that is a hard limiter. Now, you could have added a hard limiter into multi-band compressor. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I always prefer a hard limiter to be the last stage. I think right now, the way I have it set, I'm thinking a -3 is a bit too much. I'm going to set it to there, and I'm going to change this to -1. Now, when you play back and we go over these high peaks that we know we're going over, and let's click the boxes here to get rid of it.
Thank you, R2.
Now you can see that the peaks of the audio never go past. We have increased the volume without exceeding unity or exceeding 0, and none of the audio is getting into that garbled, distorted mess. And that is how you can increase the audio. Now we've got all the effects. We like the way this sounds. We have to apply it. This button down here, once you've got everything kind of dialed in, all you do is you hit the apply. Your computer will take the processing. Now you can see all this extra audio and volume level. You hit File, Save. Wait for it. Now you'll see.
Hello, R2.
See how the volume level is now increased? So I really hope this helps out a few people. Editing audio is not that difficult in its basic form, but it is very much an artistic expression. That's where effects come in, creating, adding reverb to something, whatever, adding more midtones to something, warming things up. There's a lot of that you can do with your audio edits that really make things stand out, that I really hope you can play around with. And this is just a real basic boosting your levels to make things sound just a little bit better, definitely more clear, more understandable, and that is really good for your next video project. So people, that's all the time I have for today. So I really hope this helped out a few people. And if you like this video, I'd really appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up and the little subscribe button down there. It's feeling a little lonely. You may want to click on that too. Anyway, I hope to see you guys in the next video, and you have any comments or suggestions, please put them down there. I'd love to hear from you. And I will see you guys next time.